I know they're going to try to kick me off here, so just let me try to get this out. I believe that music had the power to change my life, and God had the power to change my life. And I want to tell y'all right now, Jesus is for everybody. Jesus is not owned by one political party. Jesus is not owned by no music label. Jesus is Jesus, and anybody can have a relationship with him. I love you, Lord.
How goes it? Hopefully you're doing all right. Man, they're saying we got a chance of snow later on today. Just more proof you can't believe nothing. Everything's alive, right? It's already snowing. As we speak. Might have stopped for a minute, I suppose. You got to decipher this stuff properly. And what's making major news, of course, the Epstein stuff, right? Over here locally, in Defiance, all you Defiance folks, Northwest Ohio folks, we have a public official that has now been indicted or whatever for some kind of sex crime, whatever. Gotta watch what you say, I suppose, right? I don't know all the details there, so I'm not gonna hound too much about it. Only thing I'm gonna say is, like I shared with, responded on the post that shared it, is what do you suppose the rest of them are up to, right? We can take this whole thing that's going on a major scale and see what's going on, and what we're going to pretend that it ain't, because it's been going on for years on local levels, right? Because they all belong to this club. Now, we can try not to be political, but at the end of the day, that's exactly what they use to enslave and control all of us. Political, politics is involved in it, and one way or another, shaping your day. That's just the truth. So like I said, this local case, I don't know too much about it yet. I'm not going to hit too much about it, right? But Mr. Engel, but I'm just saying, this is what goes on all levels. And it gets worse the higher up you go. And we want to pretend that certain people we like aren't a part of it. So I want to caution. I don't want to hound too much on the Epstein thing. Like, I'm with everybody else. Release the files, right? To a point. Because truthfully, it's not about releasing the files. It's about holding those files accountable, right? It's about holding the guilty accountable. We're finding out from these files, and so we got all these channels going on here getting tons of views and sometimes rightfully so. I get it, the interest that's there, right? So everybody's finding out what's really in these files. Well, there's no names, right? There's no names. First of all, why are you still talking about it? He's dead now. Haha. So who's going to tell on me for secretly drugging my wife so she don't know I gave her STDs? And meanwhile, I've been secretly drugging the whole world and trying to spread STDs through them, right? Ha ha, ha ha, big joke. Now we all know the gig is up, right? What are we going to do about it? That's what comes down to. What are we going to do about it? Because I released a video already previously about normalizing. We have to be careful about normalizing this stuff. And that's what we're doing. We're allowing it to become normalized. Because of these sick, ludicrous acts that they've been committing all this time. They've been poisoning it, right? We already know they're poisoning our air, our water, our food. We already know they're like using literal poisons against us, right? But they're also poisoning our minds, poisoning our spirits, ripping us away from the true God to destroy our lives and take us to hell. Because they want to say the deep state, and act like, oh, Trump's not a part of the deep state. They don't want to see the psyops that are going on left and right. Look, you're watching it change right before your eyes. Suddenly, you got the left making arguments that make sense. That's crazy, right? Suddenly, you got the left fighting for the Second Amendment. Suddenly, you got the left saying demask, right? Suddenly, you got the people on the right saying wear your mask and get rid of the Second Amendment and, shit like that. It's just nuts and it's nonsense. At the end of the day, it don't matter who you choose. The voting don't matter. And there's people who say, well, if you didn't vote, you don't have it up. You surely do. You are a part of this, whether you vote or not. Your money is still used to fund all of this. And at the end of the day, that's what's even more disgusting. Every disgusting act you find out about is funded by your money. If you're an American and you've worked, your money has funded all of this disgusting nonsense. Right? But what we don't understand, what the deep state really is. There's no such thing as a deep state here in America. I mean, let's clarify this. There's the state and there's you. The deep state is those that are pulling the strings that are not from this nation, right? We focus on all the stuff they throw in our faces, the mouthpieces they use, like the WEF, and World Economic Forum and the Davos, all that shit, right? But we're not paying attention to the shit that's always been there and been outed years ago, but is secretly in the works. The Club of 300, that's your deep state. And those people, select families that control everything that's going on. And we don't see it. And we want to pretend Trump ain't a part of it. And the thing is, I don't care who it is. When you get up to that level, they will not allow them up to that level without personally having innocent blood on their hands, innocent blood shed personally by them. All this dark stuff you're hearing about, it's far worse, and I promise you that. It's far worse than this, but what are they doing? They're normalizing it because they're telling you, oh, we don't know what that means, what men who harmed boys and girls mean. Right? They're telling you nobody's going to be charged. Nobody's going to pay the price. We're going to throw all the shit out at you and basically just confirm everything you know. Meanwhile, these sick people who are doing this stuff will throw you in jail for the stupidest shit and ruin your lives for the stupidest shit. Right? We know they are guilty. Right? They will ruin your life for far less guilt than they've already thrown out there. You don't need the names. You know who they are. Anyone who you can see it in their faces, you can see it in their actions, by their fruits, you shall know them. Now they're pulling people who want to be in line with God, and they're ruining what all this really means. These people are not godly people, the people at the top. There's people that don't want to face that. People watching that maybe not, because they don't let me get very many views, right? But you don't want to face what really goes on and how the structure works and how dark and evil these people are. And the problem is that it's bred right here on your local levels, right? And this is how they get to them. You think this is all stopped right now, and you think they want you to act, they want to paint you a picture like Jeffrey Epstein was the head honcho, the ringleader, right? This ain't true, because his friend, I know there's people that don't want to hear it. All you got to do is look into it, right? Because they want to say, oh, well, Trump ain't a part of it. He kicked him out of Mar-a-Lago and whenever it was, right? But if you look into the whole story, what was the reason? He said he didn't want him around there stealing his girls. That's what was going on, right? We don't want to see that. We want to act like he's above this. They will not let somebody up to those levels, right? You think they're going to pow around with these people and say, oh, we're going to take a chance of letting a good person who's innocent out, get into the spotlight and take a chance that they're going to out us? It ain't happening. They'll get rid of them, okay? These people, Trump included, all of them up there, they're guilty of far worse stuff. You don't see this. They've been putting their fantasies out in the movies for years. That's what I'm saying, normalizing it. right? All this stuff you're reading about is stuff you've seen in video games, heard about in music, watched in movies, right? And suddenly that's what the whole entertainment industry became about, right? Sex, drugs, committing murder, evilness, sin. That's all it became about. That's what's become glorified. And so many people have allowed this stuff into their minds, right? You can take, really, if anyone wants to take the time to, a lot of times there's people, right? Your relationship's going just fine, and suddenly, out of nowhere, you're ending up with issues. Those issues are mirroring the stuff that one or both of you was watching all over television, right? It starts getting into you. You think, oh, that's gross, that's disgusting, I'm not that person. You become that person. I assure you, what you feed yourself, you become. All of us. And we just don't want to see that. We don't want to take the time to just shut this shit off, right? You've heard all of these names outed. Why would you ever listen to YouTube ever again, right? Why would you ever listen to, watch another Tom Hanks movie ever again? And not just them, all of them. Anyone who looked the other way. It ain't happening. They are guilty of it too. They would not allow someone who don't want to take part to just walk away with a chance of outing them, right? But we've seen, and it's far worse and darker than it is. And my thing is, we need to knock it off. We keep saying, release the files, release this and that. No, the answer needs to be, what we need to be doing is demanding justice. For you to know all the dirty, dark little things that's going on in them files is not justice, right? For these people to pay the price is justice. And for us to act like rich and powerful people are above the law, this is our demise. So the question for today is, what are we going to do about it? Right? What are you going to do about it? What am I going to do about it? On all steps, right? Well, I'm not watching any more Hollywood shit. Of course, I haven't for years, right? I'm not voting. I haven't for years, right? I'm not taking part in their shit. When you do that, just whatever. That is the question. Sadly, this won't be shared. This message won't be shared. What will be shared is all these people repeating all the dark, dirty stuff that's happened. Look, we asked for the list of names, right? And they keep giving us everything except the names of the offenders. That's what we want, right? And the only thing they are hiding is the names of the offenders. And they are telling you right out that they're not going to do nothing about it. They are admitting their guilt right in your face, and we're going to sit here and pretend it's not enough. Right? We know that they are all guilty, and therefore this is where it stops. Okay? You eat an elephant a bite at a time. Stop and take together the same bite. Right? Otherwise, everyone's nibbling here and nibbling there and nothing's getting done. The most important issue as of right now for all of us, you got people protesting this, people, upset about that, people who don't even know Trump, who Trump would watch you die in the streets, want to sit here and glorify him and act like they're giving him God level. That is what they're doing. They're acting like he's a god. Whether you know it or not, whether you realize it or not, you got to stop doing that. He's not in control of nothing. And the only thing he's been proven to be doing is backstabbing the people. Look who he serves, right? But the issue at the end of the day for all of us, actually the whole world, not just America, is the offenders on that list, right? And until something is done about it, it don't matter. Nothing else matters. We don't realize that. We're going to pay the price for this if we allow it. And that's what we're doing right now. We're allowing it, and it's becoming normalized. We don't see it. We don't see it. When you sit here and let your top level people get away with stuff, stuff that the lower level people would never even get close to get near to get rid of, get away with. It doesn't work, right? And when that happens, now it becomes normalized, okay? Normalized don't mean it's going to always be legal, but you're going to start seeing people, cannibalism, sacrifices, all this stuff that these nasty people have done in these stories that they're releasing, which how satanic and horrible he was. They, right? They, all of them. And this is the stuff they've been putting in your movies. You wonder where they get the ideas from, right? Okay, not only are you supporting them financially to do this, to do those dirty, disgusting things, but you are also feeding your mind with it and not realizing it, right? All these horror movies you watch and all these, or you see a movie where, because it's a movie and they're just trying to get you to understand the feeling there, right? Where, just all this nasty stuff that's coming out in that list, this kind of stuff, that stuff's been in the movies for years, been in the video games for years, been in the music for years. Now you got the Nicki Minaj is Trump's. Don't people realize he is a master at this? He's all in on MAGA. He hails with Aleister Crowley and Albert Pike. That's just the truth. He is every bit as guilty as the rest of them. And I assure you, there's stories out there that they want to say, oh, well, we can't collaborate that or whatever, so we didn't put it out there. We accidentally dropped it and then withdrew it. That says some stuff about Trump. It don't matter. If it's put there, it's worthy of, just like the rest of the stuff, right? The thing is people ain't using their head and putting two and two together, right? This is their way. And when you realize who pulls the strings and that it's all satanic and that no one would be to the level of Trump without their blessing, right? You want to know what happened to, there's a possibility that maybe Epstein didn't really off himself or, is really alive, right? Or that, it was one or two things, but he didn't off himself. It's either he's alive still or they got him, right? Well, who was in charge, right? That's right. The man who had everything to lose and full access to him, right? We don't want to see that. But we're normalizing it by letting them get away with it. The question ain't anymore, what's the details of what's going on? The question is the names. And it's up to us to make every one of them pay who don't want to do something about it. Right? Anyways, let us know your thoughts in the comments. And thanks for watching. Whiskey and I, we appreciate it very much. Let us hear the conclusion of the whole matter. Fear God and keep all of his commandments. For that is the whole duty of man. For God will bring every work into judgment with every secret thing, whether it be good or whether it be evil.